Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the King Island Ordinary Council meeting for the month of March 2026. For the record, today's date is Tuesday, the 17th of March 2026. I call the meeting to order and declare the meeting open at 4:01 p.m. Usual housekeeping, if you can please ensure your mobile phones are turned off or put on silent so that we're not interrupted during the meeting. Thank you. Item number one, as always, is qualified advice. Pursuant to Section 65 of the Local Government Act of the State of Tasmania, 1993, we hereby certify that qualified advice has been received to prepare today's agenda. Over to page 7, the required opening statement. As chair of this council meeting, I notify all that an audio-visual recording is being made of this meeting. All persons attending the meeting are to be respectful of and considerate towards other persons attending the meeting, and language and conduct at the meeting that could be perceived as offensive, defamatory or threatening to a person attending the meeting or listening to the recording is not acceptable. Over to item 2 on page 8. Item 2, attendance and apologies. We'll mark the roll book, so to speak. I welcome all councillors and staff in attendance. We have 2 councillor apologies tonight, Councillor Green and Councillor Allen, with the remaining councillors here tonight and taking those 2 apologies into consideration. To confirm our quorum numbers, we are 7 of 9, so we certainly have the required quorum and we are good to crack on and transact council business. Staff attendance, King Island staff are here as required. We've done our comms checks with Malcolm and finally got him live and loud and clear, so that's good. Fingers crossed it stays that way. Are there any staff apologies for this afternoon's meeting?
Yes, the Deputy General Manager.
Yes, of course, DGM. Okay, all right. Who's off the island at the moment?
Yes.
Doing training. All right, thank you. Media attendance, as just noted, the meeting is being recorded and media is present. Public attendance, on behalf of King Island Council, I welcome all interested constituents in our gallery today and also those who will listen to the recording afterwards. For the opening statement, would everybody please stand? Councillors, to begin the meeting today, I ask you to stand in silence to pray or reflect on our responsibilities to the people of King Island. We begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to their elders, past and present. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Thank you. Please resume your seats. Item 3 is presentations. There are nil this month, so we'll go straight on to item 4, contributions to the community. On behalf of King Island Council, it is my very great pleasure to welcome Lee Faulkner, Mandy, wife Ainsley here this afternoon for the long overdue recognition that King Island and King Island Council want to pay to King Island Airlines. So Lee, great to have you here this afternoon. Well, obviously we'd hoped you'd made it over last month, but the weather didn't play the part. But today, thankfully, beautiful weather. And hopefully it'll get back in smooth conditions tonight after this. So welcome Lee, owner-manager, regular pilot, King Island Airlines, operating out of Moorabbin. What I'll do is I'll read the citation, put it on the public record, Lee. Then I'll present you with this certificate, challenge coin and another gift, and then you'll have an opportunity at the end to say a few words and put your reply on the public record also. It's great to have you with us and so glad you made it this time around. Mr. Lee Faulkner and his company, King Island Airlines, as well as his small dedicated team, are long overdue for proper recognition for the excellent passenger and air freight services they provide to and from King Island, Tasmania, based out of Moorabbin, Victoria, for more than the past 2 decades. Lee Faulkner was nominated for the recent King Island Australia Day Awards, and although a worthy nomination, he wasn't actually eligible under our rules for Australia Day because he doesn't physically live on King Island. Ironically, however, as we all know, Lee goes to work most days of the week here on King Island. We certainly agree that Lee and King Island Airlines are long overdue for the recognition they deserve. So it's an honour for us today to acknowledge the ongoing great contribution to our community that King Island Airlines delivers daily and place it on the public record here at our March 2026 King Island Council meeting. In a period of significant regional aviation industry flux, as well as the modern challenges of running a general aviation small business, we on King Island have been the beneficiaries of the excellent service King Island Airlines has provided for the past 30 plus years. moving passengers and freight to and from King Island almost every day of the week. You have an excellent aviation safety record and on-time flight reliability record, and you always go out of your way to look after your passengers, especially as far as local fare discounts and value for money are concerned. It's also very convenient for many King Islanders who like to go out and travel to that side of Melbourne, where Moorabbin is convenient for some of King Island residents to leave cars and tap into that side of the Melbourne city and Gippsland easier. Therefore, as Mayor and on behalf of King Island Council and all constituents, we pay a long overdue tribute to Lee Faulkner and King Island Airlines. We thank you for your success and dedication, providing valuable air services to King Island to date. Congratulations on what you have achieved so far and the excellent reputation you have established in tough times. So please keep up the great service, Lee, to you and your team, and safe flying. I'd like to invite you, Lee, to come forward and I'll present you with these. And then we'll find somewhere where you can be mic'd up and you can make a reply on the public record.
Yeah.
Right, first things first, the challenge point. I've got to shake your hand.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah,
That's
thank
yours,
you.
huh?
Wonderful.
No worries. That's yours. So, Lee, can we get a photo?
That's enough smiles.
Thanks, Lee. And a personal gift.
Oh,
from
okay.
you, the Mayor.
Thank you, Mark.
Now, if you, we might, maybe you can sit over here. You sit here.
Yep, lovely.
You sit down there, get your notes out, give a reply.
Lovely.
It'll be properly recorded in high quality. And then when you're ready.
Thanks, Marcus.
Over to you, sir.
Welcome, Lee. Good to see you.
Lovely to see familiar faces. I guess I didn't really expect this because the weather on the last month, and I didn't really expect that it would be repeated. But I really appreciate that having happened, and I did as a function of not expecting it. I wrote to Marcus and really told the story a little bit, and I'd love to put that on public record if I can be a little indulgent.
Yes.
Firstly, I am very touched and humbled by the recognition that your citation reflects, Marcus, and the Council generally. I know that everyone would have been a party to it. I'm keen to put on public notice my great appreciation of the support that so many King Islanders have shown for our air services. Many from the start of our history as King Island Airlines, and that goes back to, we took over the operation in 1997, and I had been involved in the exercise for a long time prior to that, as many know, and there are faces here that have been party to our services since the inception of the organisation under our control. I'd been flying for King Island Airlines for many years prior to us taking over the operation in 1997, so my involvement in KIA has spanned more than 35 years. Just after we took over the business, I was warned by Mr. Wayne Watley, whom many would know here, but it was very important, a born and bred King Islander and long-standing airline agent on the island, that he could list more than 16 collapses of attempted air service providers to the islands of Bass Strait. Being aware of those scenarios, we were eyes wide open when it came to the challenges we faced. We were intimidated too, I can tell you at the time. Our survival has been due to several aspects, but most importantly, acute awareness of the unique nature and cost of remote island living. From the outset, apart from the realisation that our success would require sensitivity to the difficulties that King Island people face daily, it was the philosophy that providing air services to King Island was a privilege, not a right. Been a very important aspect of my understanding that set us apart. If we failed to provide services that were dependable and valued to the island, we would not endure. I'd like to thank you, Marcus, and those involved in considering this recognition, including council members and, of course, my nominator, Mr. John Daniels. I also wish to publicly thank Mandy for the ever diligent and enduring service to both inbound travellers and, so importantly, residents of the island. Mandy must strike a very fine and at times challenging balance between our highest priority, protecting the safety of our passengers, and looking after their needs. And it's a really tricky balance at times. Mandy does it very well. And thanks to Sean, our driver, who is often the meat and the sandwich when handling freight, which is always precious to its owners. All too often, it's a supplier deficiency that Sean has to inappropriately bear the brunt of. And that happens all the time. Poor Sean, he's the face of it, and he suffers the comments that are often nothing to do with him, or quite often us. It's often the supplier lines. At the Moorabbin Moorabbin end, sincere thanks go to Paul, who has a detailed knowledge of every aspect of KIA and is highly attuned to the priorities and balances that we must achieve to best serve the people of the island. Finally, and so importantly, whilst not high profile on the island, my wife Ainsley, excuse me, suffers the pressures and challenges of KIA. She's my rock, my sounding board and guiding light, especially in regard to being sympathetic to the personal needs of all involved and affected by everything that we do. Without Ainsley's support, King Island Airlines would not be the sensitive, responsive service provider that it is. And I know, I'm not sure that Ainsley has met anyone here, but boy, she is behind me and has such influence over our decisions. Marcus, your citation shows a perceptive feel for the attitudes of most King Islanders. Attitudes and support so appreciated by King Island Airlines and never taken for granted. Thank you, folks.
Round of applause. Someone told me the story, and I don't want to get you in trouble, so I'll very cautiously abridge this story. But someone tells me the story: you were hatches and harnesses locked, engines running, taxi cleared for taxi, and then someone in the back remembered they'd forgotten their mobile phone sitting out in their car, and you found a cunning way where they could do a running man out of the left-hand side of the aircraft, quickly grab their phone, and then claim it back in, and hatches and harnesses, and on you rolled. So. I don't know of any other airline that, other than a trusted and reliable airline that really looks after remote and local communities, that would do anything like that. So I thought that was a pretty good anecdote. And as I said, I don't want to get you in trouble, but that's just one example. I know so many that I've heard, and the rest of us councillors have heard, how you go over and above to look after your customers and provide a great service. And times are tough in regional aviation. Times are tough in general aviation, no doubt about it. With what's happening in the world at the moment too, no doubt the price of avgas continues to increase, and a whole lot of other headwinds are encountered literally. But in spite of that, we'll work with you to help get you through and to help take you to the next level, because we need your air services now more than ever. The versatility you have to move passengers and cargo is what we need. It's manna from heaven for King Island, as you know. You've done it for so long. We'll keep working with you to try and continue to improve the situation, and hopefully continue to improve your passenger throughput and your freight movement. And I know that the King Island Courier, on the back of this tonight, the King Island Courier is going to do a feature article on your airline and yourself and your history, which is amazing. So it'd be good to see that in newspaper print as well. But congratulations to you and your team for all you've achieved, 30 odd years. Ainsley, nice to have you across in our council meeting, and good smooth weather for you to fly across as well, because we all know Bass, you know better than anyone, Bass Strait can be a little bit hairy at times, especially in winter. It's not everyone's. Yeah, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's nice to have you here with us to enjoy it. And you're welcome to stay and have a cup of tea with us, but if you want to get back while the weather's good and pull the chocks out, we understand that as well.
Oh, it's an interesting aspect, Marcus. I gather that Rex had a technical problem on the way back from Tasmania, and they've gone straight to Melbourne. So we have quite some demand for seats on the flight that I'm taking back. So
right, okay, no worries. And the helicopter safari landed today as well, 20 odd choppers.
We got in 2 minutes before them, which was fortunate.
The pattern was busy for a while, so you timed that well. Yes. But no, congratulations, thanks for all you've achieved, and aviation, aviation is our Highway 1. Again, you know that better than anyone. And as a council, we wish we didn't have to own and operate an airport, but we do. And we've got to find a way to try and improve the airport complex and grow it into the future, and to try and get it back into profitability as well. So that's a big challenge for us as a small country council. But thanks for being a part of our recent aviation history, and safe flying this afternoon, and from for the future. And pass on our compliments to the rest of your team. That I know you've only got a small team, but those back in Bradburn, I guess, that couldn't make it here today. And I did invite John. Not sure what happened. Some cows might have got loose or jumped the fence or something or other. Something comes up, as it often does for farmers. But I know he was keen to be here, and it was nice that he, thought you worthy of a nomination a while back.
Wonderful gesture. I really appreciate it. And
you work here every day, but you don't live here, or not every day. You work here most days of the week, but you don't live here. So that's a pretty cool distinction. Yes. You're definitely an honorary King Islander and an honorary resident. So,
fabulous.
But we won't charge you rates.
Good on you. Good on you. No, I appreciate it thoroughly.
Thanks, Lee. I'll give Lee another round of applause. All right, thank you, sir. We better get on with our council meeting. As I said, you're welcome to stay and have a cold drink or a cup of tea.
We're in the air at 5 o'clock, so the timing will work really well.
No worries.
Fortunately.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Mandy, great to see you. You can go out either this way or the back way, whatever suits you.
No worries.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Over to item 5. In accordance with what is an acceptable question below, if a constituent in our gallery wishes to ask a question or questions without notice, I'll allow a minimum of 15 minutes public question time. Our public has just left the gallery, so there are therefore no questions. So we'll move on to item 6. Item 6 is declaration of interests. Are there any for tonight's ordinary agenda? Okay. Over to item 7. Questions without notice by a councillor. Does any councillor have a question or questions without notice? Any? None? Okay. All right. Move on to item 8. Item 8, notices of motion. There are nil for this month. So we'll go straight on to item 9, confirmation of the previous minutes. Our last ordinary council meeting was this time last month, 17th of February. Those minutes have been distributed. In fact, there was a late amendment to the minutes, wasn't there?
That's correct.
Noting there was a late amendment to the minutes, those minutes have been distributed. If councillors are satisfied, would somebody like to move that we receive those minutes? Councillor Iracook. Or is that a question? Sorry.
No, I'll move them.
Happy to move. Thank you. Deputy Mayor, happy to second. Moved and seconded. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over the page to item 10.1, the Mayor's diary for last month. Of course, I'm the council officer responsible for my diary. February was another cracker of a month. There's nothing I specifically want to highlight, so I'll happy to go with any questions or discussions, and we'll get a mover and a seconder first to do that. So somebody like to move my diary? Councillor Anna Healy has moved. A seconder? Councillor Layla has seconded. Thank you. So Councillor Healy, you've got discretion if you want to ask any questions or
yes,
bring about any discussion, crack on.
On the 23rd of Feb, you attended the regional aviation hearings by Zoom, by telephone link.
Yes.
Anything interesting for us to know about that?
It was disappointing that we weren't able to make it. The sharp flight that morning just didn't allow us to get across there. We wanted to be there in person and make an impression, but I think we made an impression anyway. Not being there, actually, irony of ironies, illustrated that point, and then they went out of their way to give us an extra long window to give evidence over the phone. And they've also given us a very, very good positive undertaking to bring the committee back here to King Island, because they could see it was clearly illustrated throughout the day's testimony and rammed home by us that everything that's currently right and wrong with regional aviation in Australia happens here on a daily basis and is illustrated daily. And so they've agreed that they'll come back here as a committee. The committee runs for 6 months or more, so it'll be down the track a little bit. But late in their committee, when they're starting to tie up things and tie up their recommendations, they want to come back here and visit us physically, which is good. Since then, we've had a range of questions on notice that we had to answer that were given to us on the day, and then Senator Lambie also came to us with another list of questions wanting us to follow up and answer, which we did. most of them were answered by us. We got together and did that as a team, and also the Chamber of Commerce was given a set of questions as well, and we helped them answer theirs where we could chip in as a team. So it was a really good team effort. We articulated, as mentioned, the issues and challenges we've got with regional aviation. I think the committee was somewhat stunned that we own and operate, and we are forced to own and operate, a loss-making airport. There is no other option for us. No one else will buy it. It's a highway number one. It's the only way people can come and go. So I think straight away out of that, they thought we deserved a better deal or better funding or support arrangements. And so that's given us some confidence to try and take our CSO to the next level and get it funded partially or fully. So there's lots still happening with aviation, obviously, and unfortunately what's happening in the Persian Gulf at the moment with upwards pressure on fuel prices and everything ain't helping our cause, but hopefully, fingers crossed, that's temporary, and then later in the year we can expect some of the good undertakings that Rex and Sharp have given our way will come to bear, and we'll be able to start to rein down airfare prices again and increase flights and increase flight capacity to King Island. Councillor Laidlaw.
Can I just add to that it was really good. Chris's input into the discussions has been really valuable, and through the Transport and Freight Group we will be forwarding out some more information, also with the Chamber of Commerce comments and things, just so that everyone's kept in the loop, because it will be ongoing. And the next Transport and Freight Group meeting will be focused on aviation. And so I'm about to set a preliminary date for that, and we'd really like Marcus and Chris to come and speak to the group at that time.
Yeah, thanks. I certainly, as mentioned, it was a team effort. I certainly acknowledge the great work that the Transport and Freight Council Committee are doing. Serena, Rowan and the team, Vernon and the team doing a great job. That team effort really came together and helped us with the Senate hearings, and we'll get the Senate back and we'll do plenty more on that front. But yes, aviation, shipping and freight equalisation, the big 1, 2, 3 for us continue. But certainly at this point in time, in March 2026, aviation access is again our number one strategic and existential issue. Lots of things are coming to a head this year. Hopefully out of that we'll get a better solutions, increased capacity, increased frequency, and hopefully better airfares out of it. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're trying to do. But things are coming to a head this year, no doubt about it. The next challenge for us is to try and gain more traction on our airport community service obligation and get those losses that are subsidised through to the ratepayer, get those covered at least, and try and get our airport back in the black so we can grow the complex into the future. But yeah, aviation, say no more. All right. Any further questions or discussions? Councillor Laidlaw?
Yes, I just was interested to hear what the Mayor of Circular Head on the 12th of February, mutually beneficial development opportunities.
Yeah, so the Mayor of Circular Head, Gerard Blizzard, he's a great chap actually. We have a great relationship, a great robust relationship. He and Circular Head are really keen down in the future to try and open up a shipping route to the west of Bass Strait. Circular Head, King Island, Colac Otway. So they're keenly interested in Apollo Bay potentially opening up in the future, and to try and plug in our 3 agricultural heartlands into each other with direct shipping for the first time in history, and they see the economic benefits of that. So they're keen supporters of that in the background. The moment we get plugged into, or we're able to get plugged into the Colac Otway or that side of Victoria, particularly for agriculture, they're really keen to try and link the shipping through and to try and get us working together more on that front.
So I think that will be the second meeting of the Transport and Freight Group, because I'd heard other comments about other areas that people were thinking about accessing. That's the fast ferry type of option is that what?
Yeah, and as I understand, I've been told about it, but I haven't seen it. But I understand there's a kind of a port facility being built upstream a little bit around Smithton, with a view to future shipping links with King Island. I think it's on privately owned land or council land. I'd have to double check that. But again, that sounds like a good development that might plug into us in the future.
So I think it'd be really important to have discussion through, because I know the Chamber of Commerce in Stanley have had big discussions around that as well. That'll be a next point of discussion for the Transport and Freight Group.
And Circular Head, we've called in a few favours from Circular Head and they've never let us down. So we owe them a few return favours and they're a great council, one of the closest councils we work with on a regular basis.
And the Federal Minister for Resources, King?
Yes.
Any sort of feedback from that visit?
Yeah, so again, it came out of the blue. We got about 2 weeks' notice. It was the Federal Minister for Resources, and she's also the Federal Minister for Northern Australia, wasn't it? Northern Australian Resources. Minister Madeleine King, she's from a seat into the Kwinana area in Perth in WA. That's her seat, so she's from WA. She's the Federal Minister for Resources in Northern Australia. It was her first trip to King Island. Anne Urquhart had strongly encouraged her and many others, ministers, to visit us. So it was nice to have Minister King across. As you all know, maybe only twice a year we might get visited by a federal minister. So it's a pretty big deal for us. We treat them with the utmost courtesy, tell them all about us, let them know about us and show them the country hospitality they deserve. Clearly, Minister King was interested in the tungsten mine, and her staff hadn't briefed her either on the sand mine, so we were able to inform her about the importance of the sand mine here. That can't be forgotten in the resources space. She's very enthusiastic about the tungsten mine here and the future for export and increasing opportunities there. And we also reminded her of because we wrote to her 3 years ago about our opposition to the ConocoPhillips T49P gas exploration lease off to our 28 k's off to our west. I reminded her of our council opposition to that because of the very close proximity on our weather side and all the risks that has for us and our brand, etc., which she was happy to receive and take on board. So she had a couple of staff with her, a chief of staff and one other, and Anne Urquhart accompanied her. So it was good, a good opportunity for King Island, and I think we did well. They toured the mine, of course, as well. They went and toured the mine first, and then they visited us. And then after visiting us, I think they went to and were interviewed by Wade and Pam at the hub. So a bit of a whistle-stop tour, just one day only, in and out, but a good opportunity for us. And I'm pretty confident we made a good impression to the minister, and we know directly and indirectly in the future that'll help us one way or another.
Sorry.
Councillor Wade.
It was a busy month.
Yeah, this one's crazy.
We haven't even got to March. The other thing was the Tasmanian Freight Equalisation Scheme. That was quite an interesting discussion with them, and with the options given to us at quite the last minute. I'd been working on their issues paper and their questions, and all of a sudden they had options. They were, so that was. I missed them November or December when it was last year. Yeah, I missed them last year because I was away. I didn't get a chance to talk to them face to face. So this was my first opportunity to pile in and listen to them. But they gave us a back brief on what they'd learned so far and what they thought might be an acceptable improvement for the Bass Strait Islands. They gave us their proposals, which, I don't know, it wasn't really what we were after and what we were hoping. So we almost took the argument back to first principles, highlighted the importance of air freight equalisation and other things for us. And in the end, I think we won them over with a pretty compelling argument, and they've agreed to go back and have yet another look at that aspect. I think they'd broadened their outlook since their first discussions, their brief, but I think they went back with an even broader brief. So I hope, fingers crossed, we'll hear something more constructive.
And they liked, and I'll give credit to Brian and Malcolm who put this together. We're currently a $285 million a year economy, not bad for a population of 2,000 people. And it's freight and aviation and freight equalisation that's holding us back. If we can significantly unlock aviation, shipping and freight equalisation, there's no reason why we couldn't be a $400 million economy into the 2030s. So any investment in us by the taxpayer through an improved freight equalisation scheme, we're pretty confident we can say we'll pay that back 2 or 3 times over. And I think that was a compelling argument, given our history and given our brand credibility, that they couldn't ignore.
And we had very positive discussions in regards to the ambulance station and the community paramedic.
Yes. Late in February, the North West Tasmanian Ambulance Director visited us. I don't have his name. Yeah, I should have put it in there anyway. He gave us an update mainly on 2 things. The construction tender for the new ambulance station is going out at the moment. It hasn't been let yet, but when it does, they'll get back to us and confirm the construction schedule But at this stage, the new ambulance station isn't expected to be delivered until about November 2027. So November next year is the rough planning stage for that to be ribbon cut at this stage. So it's still a fair way off, and we know we've got to keep an eye on it, make sure it continues with the momentum that we've established. So that was one thing. And then secondly, he just wanted us to know that they are, as they've pledged, they're going to consult us, the volunteer AMBOs, of course, first and foremost, us and other medical, clinical aspects here on what is better suited for us in the future with ambulance staffing, whether it's the community paramedic trade or the paramedic trade or whatever. But they're a little bit behind that at the moment because they've got some few industrial things they've got to sort out and a few competencies and quals and other stuff. But when they've sorted that out, they're going to come here and engage the community and try and work out what's best for us in the near term to staff our new ambulance station when that's opened up, and what those clinical qualifications should be, etc. So more to follow on that space. But and he was here doing training with the AMBO team and just spending time on the ground here doing a recce, which a emergency services boss should do every now and then here. All right. Yeah, it was a busy month, February. Any more questions or discussions? Just confirming that's been moved by Councillor Healy, seconded by Councillor Laidlaw. All right, we'll go to a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over the page, item 11.1, the operations report for February 2026. Nanda, of course, is the responsible council officer. Nanda, at your discretion if you want to mention anything or you want to take the report as read, so over to you.
The report is to be taken as it is read.
Okay, all right. We'll get a mover in a second and then we'll deal with the item. Councillor Laidlaw, you happy to move? Thank you. Deputy Mayor, happy to second? All right. Councillor Laidlaw, questions for you first. Have you got any?
Yep, just I know there's lots of work going on in this space and a lot of work with Malcolm in regards to getting everything flowing in a way that suits our budget. But obviously the big thing that I'm excited about is the Narracoopa Jetty having the contract is being evaluated and a suitable contractor having been identified.
We have already identified a suitable contractor now. So we have already prepared a contract and contractor has been sent to them for review. So Burberry is the company who is going to get the contract, and so they're based in mainland Tassie. So I have run through this with the GM as well, and they have given us so far the better value for money. So yeah, it is going to be executed in the next 1 week, the contract. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And can I just ask a question? When would you propose that the project planning group get together to discuss
in the next 1 to 2 weeks, once we execute the contract, I would like to, arrange for a meeting and update with you the whole thing of what's going to happen.
Yeah, he's just coming up. Yeah. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor, did you have subsequent questions? I note today, having gone around to around the corner for lunch, that Netherby Road and Owen Smith Drive have been resealed today or redone. Is that all done in one day, or is it just?
Oh, that's all done in 1 day. We were supposed to start it yesterday because of the rain. There was a slight delay, so we were supposed to do Hub and the Main Street today actually. So there are slight delays because of the rain yesterday. So instead of completing this specific project by 18th, we're going to push until the 19th. The comms are going to be out tomorrow explaining about the new program. So the works are going to continue until the next week, but we have other private jobs, so slight reschedules as we go.
Okay, yeah, I was impressed with how much you've got done. I mean, yeah, the weather yesterday was terribly unexpectedly, but the weather today was brilliant. I'm impressed with how much you've got done in 1 day, because Netherby Road and Owen Smith Drive are quite wide boulevards, and that's almost finished. That's great. And the main street, obviously, it's we know there's going to be temporary disruption for businesses and shoppers and pedestrians, but if it can all be done in 1 or 2 days, and then gee, that's perfect. And then the line marking has to follow as well, doesn't it? Yeah.
Between tomorrow and after tomorrow, the physical works will be done. The contractor for the lane marking will come in another different day, so to finish the jobs. That has not been scheduled yet.
Okay, yeah, we better get that out on the community page and our website and whatever else we need to. I trust that'll happen. All right. Any other questions or discussion? It's Fulton Hogan, isn't it? They've arrived and they brought over their specialist equipment to do the sealing works. Yes. So, yeah, it's good to see that. It's only 1 day stopped due to bad weather, hopefully. Well, the weather for the next 4 days is really good, so
we're hoping a lot of our council-related works are going to be completed in the next 4 days. And next week we'll be targeting the private jobs. That's a plan.
Okay, gotcha. Right here. All right, any more questions regarding the operations report? Just confirming Councillor Laidlaw moved it, Deputy Mayor seconded it. If councillors are satisfied, we'll go and vote to receive the report. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over the page to item 12.1, Community and Culture Report for February 2026. Responsible council officer, of course, is Taylor Stevens. So Taylor, it's at your discretion if you want to intro anything or if you want to take the report as read.
Thanks, Mayor. Just like to give a big thank you and shout out to the gallery officer and volunteer team. We welcomed a record number of visitors in February. As far as I can find, the most visitors in a single month ever, which is amazing, 479. I'd also like to thank the drivers and tourist operators who are bringing or encouraging visitors to the island to come check out our thriving little gallery. Thanks to everyone for bringing people in. I'd like to congratulate local artist Latina on his first solo exhibition, which was highly successful and a real pleasure to have in the gallery. And Latina became part of the team while his exhibition was on, so that was great. And lastly, we've got our next exhibition opening this Saturday, Dream, which is a youth-led exhibition at 5 p.m. at the gallery if anyone would like to attend. That's it.
All right, thanks. We'll get that moved and seconded and then deal with the item. Somebody like to move the report? Councillor Healy has moved. Councillor Ira Cook has seconded. Thank you. Councillor Healy? Yeah.
No, I was just, my only comment there is it's a massive lot of numbers for February, which is almost double a lot of other months. Really exciting, and I presume it's attributable to the tour groups. Yes,
definitely. We had a great turnout for Latina's opening. A lot of young people in the gallery, which was fantastic. But yes, the gallery officer is working with the tour drivers, and they're just organising to bring people in more regularly, which is wonderful.
Which is fabulous.
Yeah. And thank you.
Well done.
For pointing people in our direction.
Again, it's a good team effort. Tour operators in particular, bringing them through these institutions, and the museum and other things included as well. So everybody wins from that. And we've done a heap of work to make the gallery more interesting than it's ever been, and it's reflected in the numbers and the sales, art sales as well. So again, that's good team effort. I know. Just like the next spin group is tomorrow afternoon.
That's right.
In here, I take it. And I'll be away on Saturday, so I won't be able to make the art opening. Sorry, so apologies from me. Any other questions or discussion for this report? Just confirming that Councillor Healy moved, Councillor Ira Cook seconded. So if everyone's happy, we'll go and vote to receive the report. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over the page to item 13.1, the financial report for the month of February. The responsible officer, who is of course Malcolm, who's on screen, although he was with us last week in the flesh. Good to have you across last week, Malcolm, and spend the week or so you did with us. Anything you'd like to mention in advance before we move or second?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, just a couple of things I'd like to highlight. In terms of additional one-off cash, we received up of $1 million of one-off. $700,000 was the final payment for the hub. So that came in. Our State Grants Commission, there was a $300 allocation and recovery. I think it was almost just under $100,000 recovery from the waste initiatives in relation to previous grants. So the Deputy GM was instrumental in, certainly the hub and the recovery from waste initiatives. So those were some good news stories. So overall, operating surplus for the month year to date. Of course, we're trying to keep a lid on expenses following the mid-year review and the amended budget savings. As far as very quickly on the Big Four, airport tracking flight revenue up compared to budget. Still year to date a little down from $30,000, but it's pretty close, getting close to the budget. So it's hopefully tracking back on budget. Quarry production up, small deficit year to date, 11,000. But these are swings and roundabouts. But we made adjustments in prior months. We can adjust in future months again. Private works, as we know, has been down a bit, favourably compared to year to date, but that's mainly because of lower expenditure. Expenditure's lower than income. Waste management, again, favourable for month because of receipt of that one-off income. So there'd probably be key highlights. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
All right, thank you. We'll get it moved and second and deal with it. Would somebody like to move the report? Councillor Laidler, thank you, has moved. A seconder? Councillor Healy has seconded. Thanks. So, Councillor Laidler, if you'd like to kick off with any questions or clarifications.
And having Malcolm here last week was where, yes, I would take it as read.
Yeah, it was good to have you in our workshop, Malcolm. We covered a fair bit of ground last week. And look, there's a little bit of good news on page 23 there, so we'll definitely take that. Heading into the fourth quarter of this financial year, 3 months to run. We've well and truly steered away from the rocks. Not that we were ever heading for the rocks, but obviously we had to rein in some expenditure and make a few course adjustments, which you do when you do your budget reviews, 1 and 2 or whatever else through a course of a financial year. So that's all well and good. We'll just go through this section by section. Councillor Iracook.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions actually. A couple of things I struggle to understand, and the first one is, if you look at page 31, income for the quarry operations, internal production raised. The month budget was 32 and the month actual was 56. Now, if it's internal, according to this definition, it's accounts recharged from other places, so which infers that it has already been listed and now it's being relisted. So somewhere along the line there must be a debit of that amount. Now, where is that debit, and how does it work out? It probably shouldn't affect the bottom line, but it may do.
Yeah, well, through you to through the GM to you, Malcolm. Did you get all that clearly?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Through you, Mr Mayor. Yes, so the offset of that is mainly in roadworks and private works. So what happens is when we actually raise production, it's the crushed rock is actually finding its way into the stockpile, into the store. So we're raising the store comes higher, and then that in turn it's a two-step process. We raise the production for the crushed rock, goes into the store, then that gives us more stored or more crushed rock to take out of the store, the crushed rock pile, and allocate mainly to the roadworks jobs and probably to a lesser extent to private works. So the count is correct. So whilst the two-step process, essentially that's what happened. If you assume the stockpile in the store remains about the same, it's we're raising for production here, the income, and the offset of that is the costing to the crushed rock into the roadworks. We put it through the quarry, which is why we're ensuring that where the quarry is meant to be fully cost recovery. So we know when we get all those costs that's in the quarry, you'll see there it's budgeted nearly $400,000 for the year. They find them there, they wash through the quarry as a control point and then find their way into other parts of the business, but mainly in the roadworks section. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Is that, you happy with that, Councillor?
Yeah, let's explain it a bit more, but I've got another one, don't go away, Mel.
Go for it.
Page 34, Appendix 6, Capital Works by Project. In the sealed roads section, you see an amount of February 2026 year-to-date actual. So according to this, we've actually spent $141,550. In the column next to it, the blue column, it says amended budget. which has two figures, both in the 66,000, and they total together 133,517. So if you go over to the net expense less income on the last column, it's still at 133,517, yet according to the February 26 year-to-date actual, we've actually spent 141,550. So shouldn't that figure of 141,550 be there in what we've actually spent?
Did you get that on page
Through
34?
you, Mr. Mayor. That's the February, excuse me, the February year to date is what we've actually spent. So you're right, that looks as though the 141 is more than the budget allocation in the blue was about 66, 120, 33,000. So it's about $8,000 over budget. So collectively, we haven't got the actual spend. So in the white, it's the actual. The blue was actually the amended budget. There was no offset income. So the target to actually spend on that net cost to council was the 6 for 266 figures, 132, so 133. So compared to the 141, it's that's just showing that it is marginally over budget by about $8,000, because the ones in the white column, the 141, is more than the blue column. The combined of those two, we just didn't have a breakdown of that, but that's just showing the tracking, just to be transparent about what we had available. But it is just a slight overrun there on that's showing on the report. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Just going back to the page 24 onwards, and then we can finish up on the financial tables. Is there any other questions for the dot point briefs, pages 24, 25, 26? Any questions or discussion points? Any further questions then, or discussion related to the other financial tables? We'll take our time if you want, but having you with us last week, Malcolm, I think you've answered most of our questions in advance of the council meeting, as well as the report from you being here last week. All right, if councillors are satisfied, just confirming it's been moved by Councillor Laidler, seconded by Councillor Healy. If councillors are satisfied, we'll go forward. We'll go on now and vote to receive the financial report. If councillors are happy, all those in favour. Councillor Bowden, you with us? Carried unanimously. All right, thank you, Malcolm. We'll over now to page 37. Item 14.1, the Airport Services Report for February. Responsible officer, of course, is Airport Manager Chris Newton. Chris, good to have you with us tonight. At your discretion to plug anything or take the report as read.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I'd like to add is spoke with the pavement chief engineer from Caymans today. The preliminary report for the runway pavement inspection that was conducted late last year has been completed. He's just waiting on some final costings before the official report is released. When that report is released, it will be presented to council, so it's not far away.
All right, thank you. We'll move and second the report and then deal with it. Deputy Mayor, happy to move. Councillor Ira Cook, happy to second. I'll just let Leah catch up with us here. Deputy Mayor that moved it, and then Councillor Ira seconded it. So, Deputy Mayor, points from you? Councillor Ira, any questions from you? I had lunch today with the helicopter safari. 23 helicopter enthusiasts flew in, a couple of fixed-wing aeroplanes as well. Had lunch with them in the Great Southern Restaurant, and it was nice to see that. It's been 3 years, I think, since the last helicopter safari.
It was 3 years, yeah. So they come in 2 waves. I think there was 12 before lunch and 8 after lunch. And as you said, there's 2 fixed-wing aircraft as well, and they're all departing tomorrow.
Yeah, they were apt to be here. A lot of them hadn't been here before, so it was exciting for them. They head on to Burnie, then down south to Strachan, and then across to Hobart. So they do a lap of anti-clockwise lap of Tassie, and then when they hit the mainland, they splinter off and head back home where they came from. So they're very excited to be where they're headed, and they're very excited that they've lucked, aside from yesterday, from today onwards, for the rest of their planned trip, they've got really good weather.
Maybe just a quick shout out to this morning, as you can imagine, it was chaotic with that amount of aircraft movements on the airport. It would have been so much harder without our new permanent ARO. So shout out to the AROs, they did a fantastic job today.
And all those helicopter movements today and tomorrow will bump up our stats for this month as well. So it'll look good. It'll look good in black and white. I just note on page 38 there, although our February this year aircraft movements numbers are a bit down, it's still pretty close to our historical average. So it's a bit of a bounce back for us.
We had a bump up in charter movements, Gulf charters for the month of February, which was good to see. A lot of PC-12 movements coming across and King Air movements for the Gulf, which bumped up the numbers for February.
Yeah, good. And coming up on Monday, the 30th of March, we've got the Tasmanian Grants Commission. They come over and visit us. It's our big pitch. And probably the biggest thing we're going to pitch is the airport CSO to them. Mm-hmm. We think that will be the vehicle and the evidence we need for them to throw a little bit more our way. The grants allocation this year, that's what we'll be giving it our best shot, and we'll be ready for it. So we might even need you along that day actually as well, just to be there as part of our team, because they might want to ask some quite specific questions about our airport and compliance costs and all those sorts of things.
Let me know the time and I'll be there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep. Any other questions relating to the airport report for the month? Deputy Mayor moved, Councillor Iracook seconded. Councillors are happy, we'll move on a vote to receive the report. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Across to item 15.1, workshops held. Just the one routine workshop during the past month. Anything to add from you, Jim?
Nothing to add other than one sort of correction there, Mayor, is that Councillor Iracook left the meeting early due to some sounding difficulties.
Because we're well ahead this year for our next financial year budget planning and our annual report, draft annual report for next financial year, we're not going to have to run as many workshops in April, May, we don't think, to complete our budget this year, because we're pretty well ahead at this stage. So that's probably a good thing. But one or two extra workshops might have to be stood up just to make sure we're across the detail to be able to pass our budget in June. But it shouldn't have to be as many as we ran last year and the year before. We were running them weekly there for a while, a year or two back. We probably started a bit late too, our fault, but anyway. All right. Someone like to move and second? Councillor Iracook has moved that report. A seconder? Councillor Rowan Cook has seconded. All those in favour? Carried unanimously, received. Over the page to item 16.2, the information report for February. The GM, of course, is the responsible officer. We'll go through this section by section as required. We'll get a mover and a seconder first, unless you want to start off with anything. Yeah, it's a fair bit to go through, so. We'll get a mover and a seconder. Someone like to move receipt of the report. Councillor Healy has moved. I'll just let Leah catch up with us. Thanks, Chris. This is probably the biggest report, yeah. Right, so Councillor Healy has moved and Councillor Iracook seconded. So we'll go through this section by section. Councillor Healy, at your call if you want to start off with any questions or points.
No, not particularly. We have discussed a lot of this already. No particular comments.
I'll just note that there's lots happening in the development space, more than we realise. You'll see that illustrated on page 40, which bodes well for our new planning scheme. It seems to be a definite improvement over its predecessor. It's attracting, or it's permitting more development, perhaps might have happened in the past. Even in spite of tough times and economic headwinds, we're seeing lots of development come through, small stuff to bigger stuff, which bodes well. So, and Charlotte's quite happy so far with how our new planning scheme is performing and how it's interpreted. So it looks like for the most part we got it right. So that's all good. We'll go through this section by section. Service requests, 20. 20 is a typical average for a month. So, and that's when our big annual events are too, February, March. So probably quite a few of those service requests for big event cleanups or whatever else. Backlog of 10, works in progress. Just on the procurement chart on page 43, Fulton Hogan, as mentioned before, they're in location at the moment and have commenced their road sealing works that they're doing with us for a few weeks, the back end of summer. New garbage truck has been ordered. Move on to the actions list from page 44 onwards, and really at the discretion of councillors as to any of these you want to raise or discuss or ask questions about. I've mentioned relating to 161, 162 and 163 on page 49. I mentioned recently we had that Northwest Tasmanian ambulance boss come across and gave us an update on those issues. So, but not much, just really no change, just an update that it remains a work in progress.
Page 47, where are we up for the Morrell Park?
Deputy
Getting
Mayor.
the go ahead to, you
Page
know,
47. Anything,
I
Jess?
haven't, no, through the Mayor, I haven't had any updates, but I believe we're getting very close to final sign-off, but no specific dates as of yet. Yeah.
The new community car has been ordered, so fingers crossed. Notwithstanding any shipping disruption from World Events, hopefully that new car will be delivered soon, new Toyota. So hopefully when Shirley gets back, it should be all hers from her 2 months off the island. Any final questions then on the actions list? I don't want to rush you, but if you're happy with everything, we'll keep on moving right along.
Did we...
Councillor Lola?
Sorry, did we... were we going to have a more discussion on the cat management stuff at the next workshop? Is it on the agenda?
Yeah, where are we at
The
with that?
next workshop?
Through the Mayor, probably not at this stage. I know there's been a bit of work done by NRM and Landcare. So unless there's something specific that they've requested us to do, then I don't know if there'll be any information ready for the next workshop, but certainly one in the future.
One in the future?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, final chance for questions or discussions. Just confirming it's been moved by Councillor Healy, seconded by Councillor Ira Cook. So if councillors are happy, we'll go forward and vote to receive the information report for February. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Across to item 16.3, the Australia Day location for next year, January 2027.
Yeah.
Jess isn't here, so I guess you can stand in for her. Workshop last week. And we only discussed 2027 last week. We didn't discuss 2028 at all. In fact, we probably considered 2028. That's the purview of the next council, not really ours. So that was our thinking. But we'll get a mover in a second and we'll deal with this.
Can I just note one?
Sorry, go right ahead.
Just one correction there. Obviously, it's 2027, not 2017 under the summary. But other than that, take it as read.
2017. Yeah, crikey. They were the days. 2027. All right, can I have a mover for this? Deputy Mayor, moved, thank you. Councillor Rowan, you happy to second? Yep. Okay. Deputy Mayor, anything to start with?
I'm quite happy with what we've workshopped it 3 times, so it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, the Oval Complex was a good suggestion. We probably were leaning towards the hub and the museum complex, but the Oval Complex deserves a good its day out as well. It's going to get it, so that's great. But we didn't discuss 2028, as I said. We just wanted to go a year ahead, and maybe that's into the new council, and maybe we should let the new council determine, what they want to do and what they think is right, and not us not cut their lunch, is my personal opinion as mayor anyway. But Councillor Lola?
So I'm never in favour of that because I think with business or anything that you're doing, momentum's really important, and it shouldn't really matter which group's in. but we didn't discuss it at the workshop. And I know that Councillor Allen has asked us to consider putting in 2028 at Grassy, which would, if we were following our rota, that's where we would be holding it. But the other thing is that we've got to be aware that if anything major event stuff happens, it might change that. So yeah, I'm happy at this point.
Yeah, I agree. We just haven't had a chance to discuss it. And, not to say we couldn't pass the motion in a few months' time if we're happy to cover off on 2028. But as I said, I just think that as we near the end of our term of council, we just need to be careful of signing up the next council to stuff that they didn't sign themselves up for, if you know what I'm saying. But
I'm in favour of dropping them in.
But anyway, sorry.
yeah, all right.
Oh, I'm terrible.
But no, it'll be great to see the Oval Complex set up for this, have its big day out, and great to see, like all of our facilities, it being used more. So that's good. Any other questions or points? And again, if next year's Australia Day was as great as this one this year, I'm sure it will be. It may probably even bigger and better. Then it'll be a ripper. So just confirming, Deputy Mayor moved, Councillor Rowan Cook seconded. So if everyone's happy, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Curry, back to Curry next year. All right, over the page to item 16.4, policy updates. There are two policies wrapped up in this up in this motion. General Manager obviously is the lead on this. GM, anything you want to say before we discuss these items?
Through the Mayor, nothing further specifically discuss other than the Australian Day policy now has been to, I think, 2 or 3 workshops. The delay with the environmental policy was just our consultation with Landcare that has happened, and overall they're happy with it. They just wanted to understand a bit more around how it was connected to, what it was connected to, and how we come up with the policy, and we shared a lot of the information that was already in the annual plans. A lot of it's just repeated into this policy statement. So other than that, nothing else to add.
All right, thank you.
I'll move it.
You'll
It's
have
pretty
to move. Deputy
straightforward.
Mayor has moved.
Make it a lot easier for everybody.
All right, a seconder? Councillor Rowan has seconded. So Deputy Mayor, if you start us off, you're welcome to.
No, it'll make make it easier for everybody, and being a bit
Councillor Rowan, anything to add?
Comments either?
Councillor Layla?
You just want to reassure that we did have quite vigorous discussion around the Australia Day policy. It was unfortunate that Councillor Allen wasn't able to be here, but we did take on board his recommendations and discuss them quite thoroughly. And yep, certainly I participated in the discussion with Landcare and Council around the environmental policy statement, and I think that was clarified. Unfortunately, I couldn't go to their meeting because we were at a workshop until quite late last week.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Councillor Layla. Yeah, I agree. Look, we've workshopped the Australia Day Awards rules now 3 times. Most of the proposals that have been made to us have been rolled in and fine-tuned, so I think it's definitely an improvement over what we've had previously. It opens the window earlier from September for nominations through to the end of November, gives us more time to get the word out, and hopefully we'll deliver more nominations in the categories to us. Tidied up some of the rules and regs, and we've given ourselves a few additional abilities to make sure that the standard is maintained and it's rewarded each year as we see fit. So happy with that, and it's been working very well, and it remains a very popular award here on the island. And why wouldn't it? Because as we know, to be nominated by your peers and singled out on Australia Day is a huge honour. So the awards are working really well. They're very popular. They've got a great history now with us, with that massive, huge honour board that's future-proof for about the next 50 years. The names that are on there are all people synonymous with our recent history, and living, and some passed on, but many still living legends of King Island. So we're getting it right. It's a great and popular award scheme. Hopefully this will make it better and more popular, and we'll continue to really celebrate what we should on Australia Day. Councillor Oren.
Yeah, with this carrying forward for 3 years only, unsuccessful nominations for reconsideration, the young King Islander of the year must be under 30 at the 1st of January or whatever. If you carry that person's nomination forward for 2 years, that makes it 32. Now, are they still eligible for a thing?
Yeah, that's come to think of it. I mean, it'd be a long shot for that to happen, but it's possible. I guess the council would have to consider that at the time. But also, again, if down the track we find that there is a few areas that the revised policy has fallen over, then it can have to be amended again and changed again to improve those areas. But yeah, it's possible. It's a long shot, but it could happen. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else to say?
Through the Mayor, I think, yeah, once again, a long shot, but sometimes what we don't think happens. I think at this stage, based on how the policy reads, they would get it because it was the day of nomination that they were under 30. That would be my interpretation. The other aspect we could do is just put in just a minor amendment to say, unless they are over 30 at the time that they win the award, or something around that to prevent them from doing it. And it's only a minor change that if council was happy, we could make that amendment to
or perhaps
to not allow it to happen.
The King Island of the Year.
Yeah, or perhaps at the time of nomination, because the nomination could be put in September, and they might not get the tap on the shoulder until the following January when they could have, they could have hit a birthday in between, or 29 or something.
Or we be explicit and say that at the time of nomination, it's the age that we take in consideration. Obviously, they could be 32 by the time they win it.
Yeah.
But at the time of nomination, they were under 30. Once again, maybe we leave it ambiguous so that the council can decide themselves whether or not by vote. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the most likely recurring issue we're going to have is stalwarts of the community that have been award winners in the past, or organisations that have been award winners in the past, that have continued hard at it and have made themselves worthy again for a fresh nomination. But we've given ourselves provisions to deal with that. I think that's the most likely scenario, is that someone might get a second gong, or an organisation might get a gong for the second time.
So I guess through the Mayor, there's two options, whether or not we want to make it really clear that once you're over 30, you can't win it regardless, or we're happy to leave it as ambiguous, really up to you guys, but it would only mean it really just adding a sentence into.
Yeah, I think below 30 years of age, under 30 years of age, in brackets, at the time of nomination, close brackets, that's probably.
Yeah, it's just if it's you're holding over for 3 years and you hold one over for 3 years, the person could be 3 years over when they get a thing, and is that an unfair advantage to them?
I probably wonder if that is our actual intention too. Our intention is for the winner to be 30 or under.
Yeah.
I think that
Page
is
3.
our intention. So I wonder if it does need a little bit of wording.
If you're happy, we can just put in brackets.
Maybe just put the word
must be
held over for 3 years, so long as they still meet the criteria.
The criteria,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
be under
Yeah,
30.
I agree.
That's not a substantial change. I think that's just a little asterisk in brackets we can make
We can make that without
having to go around the buoy again.
No, I totally agree.
But yeah, no, well, that should protect us from that eventuality. Are there any others? Any other? And the environmental policy was just a quick update. After we consulted Landcare on it, we didn't change much, did we? So it's all good. All right, so just confirming, we've moved it. Deputy Mayor's moved it. Councillor Rowan Cook seconded. You've made those little asterisk notes.
For the young citizen, yes.
Fine tuning.
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, well spotted, Ira. So councillors are happy. We'll go to a vote now. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over to page 65. 65. Item 16.5, the King Island Hub, fees and charges. Deputy GM is the responsible council officer. You're going to sub for her?
Yes.
Anything you want to cover?
Through you, the Mayor, Deputy GM's done some good work reviewing the current fees and charges for the King Island Hub. The current fee structure has presented some confusion, and some fees have shown to be too high for a lot of our users. and maybe why they haven't been assessing the facilities. So she has come up with a recommended, or a proposed, I should say, fee structure, which is new to the current one. So other than that, nothing to add, but certainly provides a lot more clarity, and the rates have been reduced.
All right, thank you. We'll get a mover and a seconder. Councillor Ira has moved, and Councillor Rowan has seconded. Councillor Ira?
Yeah, several people have complained to me about the charges there, and I spoke to one of them yesterday about the possible new charges coming in, and she was extremely happy that it is likely to happen, and she would be encouraged to use the hub more with the new charges. So, yeah, I think it's a good initiative, and well done.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, our first 6 months of use of the hub, we knew we were going to learn lessons along the way. We passed the original fee structure with good intentions, but it proved to have a few too many moving parts and turned a few people away, which we didn't want. So simplifying, as we're doing now, and giving locals more of a discount, which we're doing now too, should increase usage and see the hub used more and more. So it's definitely a win-win, and something we can go out and promote. Again, the moment we've passed this, and get more and more functions and events and other things through the hub.
Yep.
Anything else to add from anyone? Any more you want to add? Just confirming. Got councillors. The Cooks moved and seconded. We'll go to a vote. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Right, over the page to item 16.6, the status update on the vintage car at the airport. GM is the responsible officer. GM, anything you want to head off with?
Through you, the Mayor. So the current status of the vehicle is that it's in the workshop opposite the airport terminal, so has been removed. It does need the clutch fixed and some other repairs, I think a head gasket as well. The purpose of this report, however, is to probably seek direction or some direction. Well, our recommendation is that we look at some alternative arrangements for the vehicle. I know the airport is very interested in that real estate space where the vehicle was last kept. There were difficulties with that space in terms of removing the vehicle, even cleaning the vehicle, noting that the doors have to be removed, and it does take away a few staff to get it out. That was never the intention of the vehicle. The intention was for it to be regularly taken out and used if possible, but under the current arrangement that is very difficult. The current deed or agreement is quite stringent on council, so it does say that the vehicle must be publicly displayed at all times unless it's being maintained. That's quite a stringent requirement, and I note that some museums probably wouldn't even have that for some of their items, as well as they like to rotate their exhibitions. So it is very difficult to have an indefinite commitment like that, but that's not up for debate at this point. I think at this point we're just providing a bit of an update and advising that officers will do some work around this to bring a report back looking at some of the options associated with the vehicle in terms of a suitable place for display. So hopefully we can free up some space at the airport, but also adhere to the overall intent of the original deed. Noting that there's also no funding allocated to the vehicle at all. I don't know if there ever was over the past 10 years that we've had the vehicle, and if we are to continue to maintain it, get it out and use it on a regular basis, then there may be some investment required by council to ensure it's got a suitable structure where we can get in, clean it and get the vehicle easily in and out. But happy to take any questions on this.
All right, thank you. We'll get a mover and a seconder for this and then deal with the item unless someone wants to move an amendment. Councillor Ira.
I'll move.
Move an amendment? You'll move this?
Move this.
Okay, all right, thank you. A seconder? Councillor Rowan has seconded. Councillor Ira, back to you.
Yeah, this is something pretty close to my heart, but it highlights something that's been happening with this council over many years, and that is they get a lot of donations of things, and the council does not allow for the maintenance of these items, and it's building up, and with this one there's probably a little bit more money involved, but when you look at, there's 5 barbecues in Curry, all donated by Lions, but the council pick up all the maintenance for those, all the electrical repairs, they pay all the electricity and everything, and it's something that the council has never factored into the budget as far as I can see. And it's just, this car is probably highlighting things that we're going to get more donations given by people with good intent, and it's going to cost the council money, so we need to think of a way of sort of shock-proofing ourselves for the future so that we don't get hit with another one like this with the car. So it's the first step of more to come, maybe.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Lyra. Any other contributions? When the car was got out, I think it was last week, wasn't it? Chris sent us the video. I don't know if he sent it to all of you, but the car was hand cranked and started and then driven. So in spite of its age, it still started and it still runs. Blew a bit of smoke, but as you'd expect, which is pretty remarkable. And obviously, it's going to go in there now, and hopefully the head gasket and whatever else is wrong with it be repaired. So the car will live on and will remain drivable and serviceable, I guess, for the short to medium term future, and then we've just got to find somewhere where it can go, where it can be properly appreciated and seen. If we had a bigger museum, it should go in a bigger museum, but we don't. That's a conundrum we've got, isn't it? Yeah. Anything else from you to add, Jean?
Yeah, just sort of reiterate what Councillor Ira was saying around having some really good systems in place, or even a gift policy. Gift policy might not be the word, but having a policy in place where we do receive donations, and if it doesn't fit within the policy, then council can politely decline certain aspects. Not saying that the council would have declined this in the past, but certainly it does create a few headaches now as the world changes. 10 years is a long time to keep something on permanent display in any sort of organisation, whether it be a museum or a gallery. And certainly, whether or not something comes back in the future to provide some options around some different display, not necessarily where, but it might be the amount of display as well. So what I propose for now, though, is we'll concentrate on the vehicle. We go away and do a bit of work on some options, bring that back to council, and then council can bring it back to a workshop, and then council can give us some direction in terms of which way you're feeling, and then we can go and do a bit of more work. I know that, as I mentioned before, the airport could be expanding at some point, but certainly that real estate is getting more and more important for the airport now. So whether or not with the vehicle out from its current position, we use this opportunity to look at some other options and for you to consider those and then provide that direction to council.
And we definitely acknowledge the ongoing generosity of Fred Day, who's keen to continue to pay for and chase up these rare spares for us. That's very generous of him. He understands the constraints on us and whatever else. He's been very reasonable with us, and he's been very generous to us, and so we acknowledge his ongoing commitment to keeping this car as a great historical artefact on the island and keeping it serviceable for as long as we can.
Yeah, may I just add to that as well? Anything that if council decides in any way that something does change, then certainly that's something that will need to be consulted with the donor, and to ensure that he is also in agreement with anything that we have going forward, and maybe we'll take the opportunity, if we are workshopping it, to obviously keep him up to date and get his feedback as well, and maybe share some of the challenges we've currently got.
All right, any final discussion points or questions? Just confirming it's been moved by Councillor Ira, seconded by Councillor Rowan. We'll go to a vote. Now, all those in favour? Carried unanimously. Over the page, there being no further ordinary council business, would somebody like to move us into closed council to transact the following? Councillor Laidler has moved, Councillor Ira has seconded. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. The ordinary meeting is adjourned. Thank the public for attending, and we'll take a quick break. Thank you.